Okay, everybody, this is Sheets, and I'm going to be doing a review of, or I should say preview, of the three main tracks today on Sunday, which is going to be Churchill, Santa Anita, and Gulfstream. I did not do one yesterday, and I usually going to be doing them Saturdays because, I know a lot of people play poker Sundays, are not as focused on this. So I think that I'm going to start doing these things on Saturdays. And as a matter of fact, the first big major day in horse racing, I think, is going to be the Belmont Stakes. And I might do a live stream for that whole day. So be on the lookout for that. But for now, we're going to go over some really, really good bets at at Gulfstream, Santa Anita, and Churchill Downs. Having a really, really good couple of weeks in horse racing, actually. Hopefully you guys are in on it. If not, no big deal. We'll catch you up. If you do want to bet online using the same place I use, I'll drop a link in the description to a promo code for ExpressBet, which is, again, it's the one I've been using for a long, long time. So there are some really, really good bets today, and let's just get right into it. Again, I'm not going to go over all the analysis of how I come up with this. That's going to be for a later course probably. But let's just get right to it because Churchill is probably the best track today. And let's just go through what I'd like. The first race, and again, this is so odds dependent, and it makes me wonder what the best way to distribute material is, because I do see some content providers, even in horse racing, give out picks like before the races start, which, it's better than nothing, but you really need to know what these odds are going to be, or at least have some semblance of it. Because sometimes the morning line are so far off, but that's what we're kind of looking at. So the two best horses in here are going to be the 2 and the 4. So you'll see already that although the 2 is 12-1 morning line, they're already starting to bet it down to 5-2. You got to watch for this. But the 2 and the 4 are going to be the best bets in here, or the most likely winners. I don't know if it's such a great betting race, though. But again, if the 2, in fact, does even remotely approach 12-1, it's tremendous value there. The second race, again, not such great value, pretty obvious favorites here. The 1, Strong Yen, and the 5, Crush It, probably second best. If you had to go deeper, I would say the 3 and the 4. But again, the 1 and the 5 would be the best horses. Not a lot of value, but if you did want to just kind of cash a ticket, these first couple of races give you that opportunity. Because again, this first race, I do think the 2 and the 4 are pretty solid. 5 probably next. And then the second race, if you want to go daily doubles, you could go the 1, and then the 5 second best. Again, you're not going to pay all that much, but they're very solid. Third race, the 2 is just kind of a lock. There's just no way it's going to be 3-1. If it's 3-1, then we're sending it in on this horse. But if it's going to probably go for 4-5, which it's going to make it not the greatest value in the world. So again, if you want to start off with some chalk, the first 3 races are kind of solid chalk. Now, where it gets interesting is as we go forward in the card, because like starting off in this 4th race, for example, there are 3 very, very strong values here, and that's going to be the 1, the 5, and the 8. So what you could do if you wanted to is if you wanted to go chalky in those first 3 legs, you could do that and then be alive for these, the 1, 5, and the 8 in race 4, and maybe an early pick 4 or pick 5 or something like that. And here's a little bit of a betting tip, is if you like horses that are long morning line and you just are kind of suspicious that they're actually going to go off that long, you play them in the later part of pick 2, of daily doubles, pick 3s. Actually, not so much daily doubles, but pick 3s and pick 4s, because at that point, they're still getting treated as 10-1, 12-1s or whatever. Not until you see the daily double odds and the win odds do people start to kind of pile on. You know what I mean? When they see, like, let's say they see a horse like New Day Dawning starting to take money, a lot of people follow suit and pound the horse down even more. So you don't usually get the greatest odds on these morning line overlays in the win pool, but you will get them in the back end of, say, pick 3s, 4s, and 5s. So I would do that. I would to use the 1, 5, and the 8. Yeah, if they do go off these prices, you'll kind of rekey them to start off this leg of future pick 3s, pick 4s. You see, there's a pick 4 there. but you could put this at like the bottom end of like an early pick 4 or pick 5 and still get kind of good value out of it. Okay, race 5, I think the 6 is probably very solid, slightly probably the most likely winner, but also the 8 and the 9 are pretty good. So I would go 6, 8, 9 here. I'm not interested in the 3 at all. So 6, 8, 9 are very strong. So again, if you want to start off with that 4th race, you could play the 1, 5, and the 8, and then hook it up in here with the 6, and then also maybe even the 8 and the 9. Race 6, it's a war. There's a lot of horses can win. No real opinion there. The 7th race, there are 2 horses I like more than the others, and one of them is 10-1. The 6 and the 9, Special Reserve and Real Foot. I think these are the two most likely winners. The issue is that not the issue. One's 10-1 and one's 9-2. So obviously, I think the 6, if you could, get anything close to 10-1, he's certainly the key. But I think that 6, 9 are both very, very usable here. And I would pick doubles here, pick 3s, pick 4s. Because as you'll see, there's other great stuff coming up later. The 8th race, I think that, again, there are 3 just really, really strong plays here. One of them is a little short. The other 2 are really long. But I think the 3, 6, and 9 are very, very good plays here. 3 is very, very, very solid chalk. Certainly better than this 2. And the 6 and the 9 are really, really strong long shots. So like I said, if you want to go back to that 7th race and use the 6 and the 9 with these 3, daily doubles, pick 3s, pick 4s, whatever, I think you're getting really, really good value. The 9th race, there's going to be a horse that's going to be about 2-5 here and probably going to win. The 2, Royal Flag. If you wanted to go deeper than this, you want to do something like 3, 4, 5, and 6 maybe. But the 2 is very, very strong. I don't know if I'd really try to beat it. So I would probably key him, even though he is. So here's a really important point. Even though he is not going to be the greatest value in the world, the fact that races 7 and 8 are such great value that you can eat a little bit of the chalk here. It's kind of like when you're playing daily fantasy sports, when you have a chalky player and you don't want to play him because you think he's too chalky, but everybody else in your lineup is such a long shot that it doesn't really matter that you're taking a chalk play also. So for those of you who play DFS, you know what I'm talking about. But for those of you who don't, just kind of trust me that you can still play this as kind of a bad favorite as long as you hook it up with long shots other places. And the 10th race is nothing. And the 9th race, that's the one we just talked about. Sorry. 10th race, not a real good betting race. I like a bunch of horses here. 1, 2, 4, 11, 12. So nothing tremendous there. But overall, Churchill, just to kind of review, if you want to do that. The first couple of races are pretty solid chalk. You have the 2 and the 4 in race 1. You have the 1 kind of, not a lock, but in race 2, very good favorite. Race 3, the 2 is kind of a lock. It's going to be 4-5 though. And then you start getting into some value. The 4th race, 1, 5, and 8. The 5th race, we thought that again, 6, 8, 9 are very similar. 6 is probably most likely to win, but 6, 8, 9 are all usable. 6th race, not a good betting race. 7th race, again, the 6, very, very strong, 10-1. And 9 is very solid, 9-2 shot. And again, depending on what the odds are, you could, like, for example, last week or a couple of days ago, I gave out a course I thought it was a lock at 12-1 morning line. He ended up going off at 8-5. And I probably wouldn't, and I didn't bet him at 8-5. I mean, I did, but not as much as I should have, as I could have if he was going to be 10-1. So you got to just have a little bit of nuance, I guess, with these selections. And then the 8th race, I said 3, 6, 9, strong value there. And that was pretty much it. All right, let's go to, I guess, the next most appealing races that are going to be at Gulfstream. And when I say most appealing, I just mean as far as values go. So first race, the 8, I think, is a lock here at 5-2. Actually, it's 4-1 morning line, but right now it's 5-2. But I do think that, even at 5-2 is, certainly the most likely winner. And, I'm not too into betting favorites, but if I can hook him up with somebody later, I'll do it. I mean, I guess he's carrying 125 pounds, which costs him probably about a length. So maybe it's not a complete lock, but he's certainly the most likely winner. How about that? Let's see if we can find something to pair him with, though. So in the second race, though, I see the second race. I actually did think the 6 was kind of a strong favorite here. So he's out. So it's basically a wheel. Anybody can win. So this is a first 2 races are probably bad to bet on. Race 3, I thought, wow, race 3, they had to really stretch those 3 horses, huh? So I thought the 1 was kind of a lock at 8-1. I was setting this up to be a tremendous value play, but they scratched all these horses, so it's going to just reduce his odds significantly. But even still, if they somehow pound this 5 and the 7 and the 3, and they let this 1 kind of go unchecked, maybe at 6-7-1, I mean, I think it's clearly the most likely winner in the race. Okay, this is good. All these late scratches are coming in. The 4th race, I think it's kind of a lock Q. Lock Q means, all right, so that means that I think that the 3 and the 7 are probably going to run 1-2. Maybe not in that particular order, either 3-7 or 7-3, but I think they're clearly above everybody else. So if you wanted to bet that chalk, you can. I wouldn't go anywhere else. I don't like the 1 at all. 5th race, I think that the 4 is clearly the most likely winner. And at 4-1, I mean, you can give me pretty much all of that at 4-1. I don't know if he's going to go off at 4-1, but that's 114 pounds. And this is a tremendous value here, even at 4-1. So the next horses I would probably use are the 1 and the 3 underneath, maybe. But 4 is pretty clear here. There's just no way this goes off 4-1. But we'll see. 6th race, terrible betting race. Actually, I shouldn't say that. In the 6th race, I think the 3 at 15-1 is worth a shot here. This is one of those races, you only have a couple of horses that have actually raced. That's going to be the 3, the 6, and what is it, 3, 6, and 7 maybe? But I think the 3 at 15-1 is very, very strong, actually. So I would take a shot at him. 7th race, chalk Q, as I said before, at 9-12. They're going to come in 1-2 probably. Whether it's worth betting the exacta both ways, you have to see what it's going to pay. Maybe if it pays over $15, maybe you try it both ways. But they're certainly the 2 most likely winners, kind of by a lot. The 8th race, I think that it's kind of a fishy race, but I do like the 3 kind of longer shots in the race, the 1, 3, and the 6. I do think they have just as good a chance as these others. And so if they go off like anything resembling 5-1, I would take a shot at them. And likewise, if you wanted to start like a pick 3, 4, 5, 6, whatever, pick 5 here, you could start off with this 9-12 chalk here. Excuse me. You want to start off in the 6th race here with maybe that, 3 horse at 15-1. Then you could eat this chalk pretty handily in race 7 and play this 9 and the 12. Okay, so, and then you use, then the 3, 6, and 1 in here. Sorry about that, guys. All right, so race 9 is some very, very strong value here. So if you've made it this far, there are 3 horses that are just huge bombs, which I think have just as good a chance as anybody else to win. And these are the horses I like to bet on. The 3, the 4, and the 8. That's Centerfold Prospect, Wahoo, and Visions of You. So I think the 3, 4, and 8, extremely strong values. I think each of them have maybe about a 15% chance to win. So at these odds, this is just a little ridiculous. So I would certainly use these guys. Okay. Race 10, okay, so the 1 and the 6, I think, are just pretty much dead equal. I don't like the 2 for a penny. And so if, in fact, the 1 and the 6 are dead equal, I would 100% key the 1. If the 1 really goes off at 4-1 compared to 6-5 for the 6, see, this is what you want to accomplish in horse racing. You just want to get relative value and value. So if, in fact, you get a 4-1 spread, him over the 6, I do that every time. As a matter of fact, I would even take 3-1 on the 1. I think it's just as likely as the 6. And yeah. Now, 11th race is more insane value. So again, so first let's get to the picks. So the 1 and the 2, I think, are clearly the 2 most likely winners. I mean, honestly. And they're both going off 15-1 and 8-1. They have issues in that they're 124 pounds. So that's the one reason that there might not could be total locks, but I still think they're the most likely winners. And if you get anything resembling these prices, you just have to bet them, you know? So I'm going to predict that these do go off shorter. So what I would say is that maybe really focus in on being alive with these horses in exotics. Like, make sure you get, see, here's a case where I might even use the 1 and the 6 in race 10. Because if I really want to make sure I'm alive with the 1 and the 2, I'll eat a little bit of the chalk the race before. And then, like, say, race 9, as we talked about, I thought the 3, 4, and the 8 were extremely good value. So what I would do, this is what I'm going to do. So I'm going to play 3, 4, and 8 in a pick 3. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to use both these 1 and the 6, even though I think the 1's much better value than the 6, because I really want to be alive with these 1 and the 2 without anybody knowing, right, what these odds are, because they're going to end up being shorter, and I just don't want them to take too much money. So in the pick 3, you know, there's no way to know in advance what the pick 3 is paying. So that's why I like to play these pick 3s and pick 4s when I like horses later on in that leg. So, like, for example, let's put a couple of bets in to show you kind of what I'm talking about. So let's put in a pick 5 right now. Now we could change this later, but so we're going back to race 7 and we're going to put in a pick 5. It's going to be 50 cents for each string. So remember, we like the 9 and the 12, chalky, but we liked it. And then here we like the 1, 3, and the 6 as some value. Now, again, all these horses are probably okay, so maybe I don't want to be too cavalier about it. So let's just say for now, let's say I did go all here. And then in the 9th race, this is where we're really keying on these value horses, 3, 4, 8. And then here, let's just say, again, we use both these guys, the 1 and the 6, and then we go 1 and the 2. So here for $72, I don't have to take this stand with this 1, 3, 6, which I didn't really think was so great. So this is a really, really good way to just get exposure here and play this. I'm actually going to play this right now. And then, like, for example, let's say you also, you know, wanted to play the pick 4. Now, again, what I'll probably do is if I'm alive in the pick 5, I'll probably won't press it with the pick 4. But what you could do is if you really like the pick 4, you could do it the same way. You can go all here if you wanted. And then what did we say we liked here again? The 3, 4, and the 8. So that's kind of the key to this whole thing working, right? And then let's say you wanted to do both with the 1 and the 2. So you could do that as kind of like a pick 4 for $36. But if you wanted, let's say you really had a strong opinion on this 1, you could do this for a little more, right? So you could I'll show you what I mean. So let's say this is like the overall thing. Like, this has everybody that you want, okay? So what you could do is you could do, let's save this, right? And then what you could do, let's go to the wager thing. This is other stuff I have going on. So let's duplicate this. And then what you could do, if you could revise this, let's say you wanted to rekey these guys because you like them more. So let's say, first of all, let's say you really want to play Crammy Boy. You could do another ticket for another 50 cents. So now you have double the exposure with this string with Cammy Boy, okay? And then what you could do, go back to my wagers, the one that we saved again. And then what you could do is then go back to this race where we like the 1, 3, and the 6 more, right? Okay, and then we could rekey that, okay? And really accept this, and then really, you know, take on this opinion. We'll save it, we won't put it in for now. And then, I mean, you really want to show how, you know, bet construction works. Then what you can go back and do is you can go back with 1, 3, 6 again, and then key Crammy Boy again. So now you're really leveraged. Now you have everybody you want again for even more. So now, like you have that main string, the 1, 3, 6 with 3, 4, 8 with 1 with 1, 2. You have that 4 different times. So you have that 4 times. So we could do. Let's put this in now, just for fun. Let's put this in. So we are already, like if you see, boom. So like you see my actual wagers here. You'll see I already have 108, 144. I already have $150 riding on, right, this 3, 4, and 8. And that's how strong I feel about it. You know what I mean? So if these 3 don't win, then I have no chance. This whole thing loses, right? But I'm willing to take on that risk, because then what you could do, like for example, let's say that the 3, 4, and the 8 don't come in, whatever. Remember, don't go on tilt. You still have these other things you could bet on, right? So you could then go back to, let's say you lose that 3, 4, 8, then you play daily double with the 1, the Crammy boy that we like him, and then still play the 1, 2. Now, depending on the prices, right, you could play both these 1, 6 with 1, 2. Like for example, let's say you want to play these for $5. We'll put it in now, okay? And if we change, we change it, right? Okay, and then we can go back once again and rekey the 1 with the 1, 2, because it's probably going to be better value. Now I'm going to actually look at what these things are paying later, but that's kind of the way bet construction kind of works. Okay, so I think that was really a lot of extra good stuff as far as Gulfstream goes. So let's go ahead and go on to Santa Anita. Santa Anita kind of stinks. So today. So let's just take a look. Race 1. I saved this for the end. Race 1, 2 stinks. I think the 1 and the 2 are the most likely winners, but my own notes, like for example, it's like my very fancy spreadsheet notes. I put blah. That's kind of an analytical term. Second race, likewise, just kind of blah. Nothing really worth betting here. Okay, so the third race, if you want, you could try the 4. But again, I'm not going to go too crazy with this. So maybe the 4 in Countess. Fourth race is a spread. Don't really like anybody there. Okay, the 5th race, I think that the 6 is kind of a lock. If you get really 3 to 1 on him, you should pound him, but I don't think you're going to get it. And then after that, you have the 5 can run second, I suppose. Maybe even the 2. It's just really kind of a crappy card if you want to know the truth here. But you do get some decent shots a little later. So you want to skip ahead. In the 6th race, I like the 3, 4, and the 9. Nothing real special there. Even the 7th race, you have 2 really short prices. I was really just forcing it to try to beat it with this 4 and the 5. So it's really not worth it. And then, okay, so you want something? If you want to just sit through the entire Santa Anita card, like let's say that you bet Churchill, you bet Gulfstream, you lost or you won, and remember, like the way this Gulfstream starts like really soon, Churchill starts pretty soon, and Santa Anita not for 3 hours. So if you're going to be playing Santa Anita, you're waiting, and if you have the discipline to wait all the way till the late race, I like the 4. Okay, so Avalon Ride, as a matter of fact, just so I don't forget, because this is one of those, tell you, this is what could happen, because I'm actually probably not going to be around. I might be. Is if I don't like anything at Santa Anita, I'm out of Churchill, I'm out of Gulfstream, whatever it is, I might forget that this is a good bet. So again, I don't encourage you to do this at home because, it's possible it goes off a 9 to 5 and becomes a bad bet, or that it's even scratched. But just so I don't forget, okay, I'm going to put this bet in. So just so I don't forget that I did like the Avalon Ride. So that's pretty much it. As I went through my bet construction at Gulfstream, it really makes me feel as though I should do more of that. So next time I do one of these, I am going to do more bet construction here, just to kind of show you how to leverage your opinions. But again, this is a kind of weird day. You had riots going on last night. You got some people playing poker today. I don't know if anybody's going to really hang around and bet horse racing except for me. But Actually, I'm just going to probably put stuff in and leave. But look for that first live stream, because I'm going to probably do a full live stream from Belmont Park. Not from Belmont Park, but when the Belmont Stakes happens. I think that would be fun for everybody. And I'm not just going to just go over the Belmont race. I'll go over pretty much the whole card for every track that day. And that's fun. All right, that's it. Yeah, I will see you soon.